Welcome back, everyone, to the War Room, which is just tabletop simulator with World in Flames 5th edition plus Days of Decision 3. We cobble them together with duct tape and chewing gum and maybe some wires here and there. This is 1938. We have reached July and August. Actually, we completed July and August 1938 last time. It saw a dramatic escalation, particularly in Asia. We have seen Japan moving in further and further into China. Poor Chinese First Army right here on the resource west of Shanghai. Not out of supply. Sits on this resource here, but I mean it's gonna get cut off because too many Japanese troops around it. But we're tenaciously hanging on to this resource. This resource can be traced to a factory in Changsha here because these guys don't have a zone of control because they're not two armies stacked on top of each other. It is the Pacific map after all. Even so, the scale and speed of the offensive has sent shockwaves abroad. Outrage in Washington has been mounting. Congress has taken a significant step away from isolation. Financial aid is being sent to China. While the international community is hesitant, it's no longer indifferent. And we have other developments. The Soviet Union intervened last turn in the Nomonhan Incident and basically destroyed a Japanese army, shattered a second one. It was simply a border skirmish. That is what both sides are saying right now. Tokyo not very happy, but the war has lapsed. It's not an all-out war. So this turn begins with Japan and the Soviet Union at peace, officially. Tensions are strong, of course. Meanwhile, in Europe, Germany demanded the Sudetenland, and because Italy triggered an election in France, the allied democracies, so France and the Commonwealth, the major powers, were unable to do anything to stop it. So the Munich conference went off, and Germany got the demands they wanted, while France held an election and the Commonwealth guaranteed Belgium. So that's where we're at with that. So we are now, there's still no Spanish Civil War. It's just nice and peaceful and quiet, though the French have a coup cell there. Shh, don't tell anyone. The balance is shifting as we now enter September, October. We'll see if the world will continue towards a wider war or not. Let's get on to the politics. As always, I have pre-prepared the bids here, and we shall see here. We have everybody is bidding one, except for two countries, because everybody's like down to either 1 or 0 bid points, except for the Soviets. Actually, the Soviets have a little bit of a pile, and they also have to play the Nomonhan Incident this turn as well. That's the next thing. If they can't play it this turn, they'll have to play it as soon as they possibly can, because that it was a reactionary option for them, and that means that the next option they play has to be that one. Let's have a look here then. Everybody's playing betting 1 bid, except for Germany is bidding 3 and Russia is bidding 5, which is the Soviet Union, which gives us the initiative order. Germany first. The Soviet Union will go second. Germany has 7 in total. The Soviet Union will go second with 6 bid points in total, including the bonus, because they are bidding 5 plus 1 is 6. And then we'll have Italy at 4, the Commonwealth at 4, France at 3, and so on. So aside from that little shuffle, the order looks pretty much the same. Germany begins the politics. What will happen this time? That was not me rolling anything. I'm just putting the Axis die in there. Germany goes first, and we shall see. We've already demanded the Sudetenland. We have done Anschluss. We have occupied the Rhineland. There's a lot of stuff the Germans have done so far. All right. Führer occupies Czech Rump. The prerequisite is having played Germany 8 successfully a previous turn, and Germany 8 is the Sudetenland, which we did last turn. So yes, this will work. Führer occupies Czech Rump. Hungary grabs Ruthenia. Little Entente declared worthless. Czechoslovakia will now become part of the German home nation. Germany will receive 2 infantry, 1 armored, 1 fighter, and 1 tank to arrive as reinforcements in Czechoslovakia next turn. Commonwealth political effectiveness increases by 3, and French political effectiveness increases by 1. All of this happens. So, first, we spend 3 money, because Germany has no bid points at the moment. We spend 3 money just to get the bid points. 1, 2, 3, and then we spend another 6 for the option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Germany is at minus 11 money at the moment, which is not so good for the state's cash box, as it were. It's going to have to dig itself out of that that fiscal situation. Even so, we will have some changes on... We'll see if this will be worth it for the Germans to play it so early. Because historically this happened in 1939, but apparently Germany is in a little bit of a hurry this time in our alternate universe. We will have... it is 1938, and the US has played its veto to the Neutrality Act, so it's actually 9 points of US entry against Germany, which will put us up quite a bit. The Congress reacts to this, and Congress is not best pleased. So, I mean, you can see how the Japanese US entry has been going. It is pretty intense. Germany is going to be at 31 at base US entry, effective 17. Remember, we need an 81 to enter the war, and historically the war was entered in, well, let's say that if there wasn't Pearl Harbor, it could have been in early 1942 or something like that. So, having 17 now in 38, that's quite something, isn't it? Italy still has a base of 6, effective +4 now because of that play, and 37 to Japan. So, yeah, Congress has taken note of this and is not best pleased. We will put in 2 infantry, 1 armor, 1 fighter, and 1 tank. That will come into Czechoslovakia specifically next turn. So, shuffle. 1 and 2. That was exceptionally good stuff. And we'll have an armor. Nice. It's all those T-38s coming in. And a tactical bomber as well. This is... Oh, a 7. Are you crazy? Like, that's a very good tactical bomber. Didn't know the Czechs had so good tactical bombers, but apparently they do. I'm just going to put the whole pile up here on top, so we remember that it is in fact that they're all going to... Wait a minute, this is September, October now. I'm going to put it up top here in November, December, so we remember that they will come in Czechoslovakia specifically. What else do we have here? We will have some minor country effects, of course. And Commonwealth political effectiveness goes up by 3. 1, 2, 3 to a 6. And France increases by 1 to a 4. So the reaction, it's like a paroxysm through Europe here. German forces have entered Prague, bringing an abrupt end to what remained of the Czechoslovak state. Following months of mounting pressure and territorial concessions, the government in Prague has ceased to function, and German authorities have assumed control over the country's core territories. Berlin has framed the move as a necessary step to restore order and stability in Central Europe, citing the inability of the weakened Czech government to govern effectively after the loss of its border region. The occupation secures for Germany both the industrial capacity and resources of the Czech heartland, significantly strengthening its economic and military position. Across Europe, the reaction is one of unease rather than surprise. Many had feared that the earlier settlement would not mark the end of German ambitions. Those fears now appear justified. Czechoslovakia, once seen as a cornerstone of the post-war order, has vanished from the map. The Commonwealth and France are filled with resolve. And that also means that, I mean, you're going to be surprised, but it's actually the US that loses factory and the resource, because Czechoslovakia was, in fact, up here, right in the capitalist center, after some diplomatic shenanigans from Germany to manipulate it away from France. It is now kaput, much like Austria before it. No more Austria, no more Czechoslovakia. I'm gonna put the kaput markers down here, I guess. I don't know why I'm doing it there, but there we are. No more Czechoslovakia. And we haven't even gotten to the minor country reactions here. Austria doesn't exist anymore. Belgium, a -2. Not very surprising, and Belgium was already at a -3, so that puts it to a -5 here to Germany. Probably not surprising either, because, let's face it, they've gone through the problems of Franco-German animosity before in Belgium, and it hasn't gone well for them to be squeezed like that. We can remove the -5 marker in Czechoslovakia, because Czechoslovakia is now German. Occupied. Without a shot being fired. -1 to Denmark. I mean, that makes sense. Denmark is also a neighbor of Germany, and I'm sure the Danes are now looking a little bit uneasily towards the German border, because they too have had some issues with, shall we say, border disputes with the Germans before. Finland gets a +1. I'm very tempted to move Finland, but I don't think I can get it out of the neutral center. Hungary +3. Do I have a +3 anywhere? No, I do not. So I guess I'll have to get 1, 2, 3. Hungary is very much cozying up to the Axis at this point. Netherlands a -2. Maybe not so surprising. Now it's at a -2 because we didn't have anything against the Germans there before, so -2 to the Netherlands. Poland a +1 because they got a little snippet. That's why. They got a little snippet. So clearly there's nothing wrong with, you know, dividing Czechoslovakia between ourselves. It's not going to come back and bite us at all, says Poland. Everything is fine. I might just activate Poland because it's hard to activate Poland. +2 to Romania and +2 to Yugoslavia. So, +2 to Romania. Flip, and +2 to Yugoslavia becomes a +1. Now Germany has to decide which country to activate. And again, I think Finland is... yeah, Finland is still in the middle, so we can't do much about that. We could move Poland one step towards the Axis powers with a +3. It moves away from France that way. And that could be helpful. Don't really see anything helpful I can do with Belgium or the Netherlands at this stage, unless the Netherlands are in the middle, in the neutral sphere, which they are. So that could be an alternative. -2. That would cancel out the -2 and ensure that they're not moving towards the Allies, which would be nice. But I think I'm going to go for Poland, just because I can. So Poland will move down here one step, getting back to where it started out. That's a +3 gone. And the Polish government has been in talks with Germany, and they seem very pleased with getting their little snippet of Czechoslovakia there. So it's all, there have been wining and dining and a banquet to celebrate the German-Polish alliance and forever friendship between the two countries. The turn will end on a 1 or a 2. I rolled a 5. The turn does not end, which means that the Soviets get to play their option. They spent 5 bid points for this, which isn't a whole lot when they had 32, but, you know, that's fine. They're happy with that. And we said Nomonhan Incident, didn't we? Which is, I believe, on this one. Here we go. Yes, it costs 3 money. Japanese have dominated Manchuria for too long. Russia has a better initiative than Japan, is therefore allowed to play it. Costs... how much money did it cost again? 3 money. So 1, 2, 3. And let's see what the fallout of this is. Minuses, apparently. -1 to Finland. Probably not surprising. A sudden Soviet attack on a neighbor. I mean, that is going to register poorly with the Finnish, isn't it? Because they're also neighbors, albeit on the other side of the world. Turkey -1. Netherlands +1. They don't react often to... There isn't a whole lot of Soviet diplomacy these days, but when there is, there's at least some reactions, isn't there? Let's see, what else? Siam a -1. Japan is going to appreciate that a lot, honestly. Like a lot. They want all the minuses so they can join in Siam on their side in the wars. Baltic states -1. Well, that's not surprising either, is it? Not that the Baltic states have either resources or troops. Romania -1 and Iraq and Persia -1. So basically all the bordering states are like, what are you doing? Which is, except apparently the Baltic states too. Yeah, they reacted poorly as well. Persia and Iraq. Nobody likes the Soviets apparently. Non-Monhan Incident, it's 38, so it's going to be 6 points of US entry to the USSR. And that puts us to, because we played the Neutrality Act, or vetoed it, so the USSR now has 12 points of US entry. It's a -23 as far as the net goes, and that puts us down to a 14 for Germany, a 1 for Italy, and a 34 for Japan. As Congress notes that there are more than just fascist powers who are doing bad things in the world. The border clash expands into open fighting in Manchuria. Fighting has erupted along the Manchurian border as Soviet and Japanese forces clash in what Moscow describes as a response to repeated provocations. Soviet armored units, supported by infantry and air power, launched a sudden offensive across the border, striking Japanese positions in the forests and plains north and east of Harbin. Reports indicate that the Japanese units were caught off guard by the scale and coordination of the assault. The engagement, though limited in scope, has been intense. Soviet commanders claim significant success, with Japanese formations forced into rapid withdrawal under pressure from mechanized advances. Moscow has characterized the operation as a defensive measure intended to secure its borders and deter further incursions. Tokyo has yet to issue a full response, though military sources suggest the clash has disrupted Japanese deployments in the region. For now, the conflict remains localized, but it's a stark reminder that tensions in East Asia extend far beyond China. Alright, so that was the Soviet political option. We haven't actually activated a minor country for the Soviets yet, so let's do that. But which one, I ask? Which one? I could activate Yugoslavia just to burn off the German factor there. We have Yugoslavia right underneath Denmark there, but it doesn't matter that much because it's not going to bring it closer to the Soviets. We could activate Finland just to remove the +2 to Germany. That seems like a more reasonable activation because we don't want Finland to get any closer to the Axis. So the Soviet Union activates Finland. A diplomatic mission with Molotov is going to Helsinki at a state dinner, assuaging the Finnish government, assuring that no equivalent of the border unrest that was seen in Manchuria could be seen here along the Finnish-Soviet border. Everything is nice and peaceful. The Finns should not look to the Germans for support, but should just don't rock the boat. So that is the activation. Finland stays in the neutral hole in the middle, as it were. Alright, we are going to roll to see if the turn ends. It's not very often we roll with a Soviet die here. The turn will end on a 1, 2, or 3. It very much does not end, which means that Italy gets to play. And Italy will choose. Rome watches developments and strengthens regional position. The Italian government has responded cautiously to the latest developments in Central Europe, emphasizing the importance of stability while quietly consolidating its own position in the Mediterranean and Balkans. Officials in Rome have reiterated their commitment to peace, but have also highlighted Italy's growing role as a key power in shaping European affairs. Diplomatic efforts continue across the southern and eastern Europe, with particular attention paid to economic ties and regional influence. Observers note that while Italy has not taken direct action in the current crisis regarding Czechoslovakia, it is steadily positioning itself to benefit from the shifting balance of power. Italy plays a 0G. So, it had bid 1 bid point, which cost it 1 money because it didn't have any bid points. It gets 9 bid points back as a bonus. So there we have that. And it gets to activate a minor country. Which one is the question? There isn't a whole lot that's very attractive to activate at the moment. Romania possibly? Does have a +2, but it is allied to France, so activating it now makes no sense at all. Yugoslavia has a +1 to the Germans. We want to keep that as long as possible. Greece has a -1 to Italy. We could activate it just to make sure that Greece doesn't move anywhere. Other than that, there isn't a whole lot for Italy to activate. So I guess Greece it is. Italian diplomats. The Italian ambassador approaches the Greek government and reassures them that there will only be continuous amity between Rome and Athens, and of course, perhaps future economic agreements, much like Italy's already made with Spain and Turkey. Mediterranean is, after all, a place where Italy does want to maintain good relations. So that is it. Italy has done its thing, and we're getting back to the black die of the Axis. That was not the roll, that was just me putting the die down. And it's still going to be a 1, 2, 3 because Italy in fact played a 0G. And I rolled a 3. The turn officially ends. Nobody else gets to do anything. Very well. The Commonwealth had bid a single point. The Commonwealth not having any points at all, so it gets, well, it gets a lot of bid points now because its political efficiency is now a 6. So that is all the bid points. 6 bid points to the Commonwealth right there. France also bid a single point, no money left, but it gets 4 bid points back because its political effectiveness also went up in response to German aggression against Czechoslovakia. The US bid a single point, and the US has 2 political effectiveness, so it gets 2 bid points back. Let's see now. It didn't have any bid points to bid. Money -1, 2 bid points. That's where the Americans end up. Japan bid 1, much like everybody else. It has 4 bid points. It has 2 effectiveness, so it gets a net of +1. And China bid 1, gains 1. So it's going to be net ± again. Alright then, that ends the political affairs, with only 3 countries actually doing things. But on the other hand, since everybody was bidding a 1, I don't think they were going to do terribly aggressive things. But we know now that the Commonwealth and France are back in play because they have bid points, and Germany doesn't. Germany is, well, has been very aggressive, and it shows off in the German cash box, really. Alright, so we're going to have some reinforcements here. Reinforcement stage for September-October 1938 has been reached, and we are going to put down the reinforcements. We have 1 Japanese army that will go in there on the Japanese mainland. We have the 6th Chinese Communist Army, which is mobilized in Lanzhou, because the communists are always mobilized in Lanzhou. We have another Chinese Nationalist Army, the 5th, mobilized in Changsha, because it's very close to where the fighting is going on. Mao is in a tricky position here. We don't want to keep Mao there. We want to shorten the lines a bit, I think. So the Allies will want the initiative this turn. But before we get to that, let's see what we have. That was all the reinforcements on that production spiral. On this one, we have German units coming in. Let's see. A whole bunch of infantry. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 corps coming in. We have an Italian destroyer group. The keels have been let down. The superstructure is needed as well. We also have a British such. We're getting some stuff in the construction pool here, the British. And the carrier Furious and Ark Royal they're coming in. Nothing French this turn. So all of this is gonna enter the map in Europe. Let's see here. So all of the German stuff. By stuff I mean German troops. We are gonna put the 5-3 in, what is this, Saarbrücken, right here on the border with France, which means that the border with France will be fully manned now. We will put, you know what, a 6-4 in Königsberg, 6-4 in Breslau, and a mountain unit. Where do we put these guys? In Munich? In Hamburg? In Magdeburg? I'm not sure. It's a good mountaineer unit too, isn't it? But to take Norway... Shh, don't say anything. To take Norway, we don't really need a mountaineer unit. We just need to take Oslo. I mean, I could put them in Vienna because technically they're Austrians, right? So I'll do that. We'll put them in Vienna, right there. Alright, and then we have the Ark Royal and the Furious. And I'm gonna put them into London. We also have a 6-4 Infantry Corps entering service in London as well, which is probably absolutely necessary. And that would be that, as they say, for the reinforcement stage for the September-October turn of 1938. I promise you guys, these piles will just get much, much bigger as this goes on. Let's see who wins the initiative. That was not a roll. This is a roll. Yeah, that's an Allied initiative, even with a +1 for the Axis. Do the Axis want to spend their reroll? I mean, for the Japanese, getting to stomp Mao and getting across the river would be amazingly good. Amazingly good. It would be a good thing. There, yeah. Difficult words here. So let's spend that reroll, shall we? Just because we can. Let's go. A 4. Remind me. Well, the Axis have a +1 this turn, so I guess it goes to an Axis turn then. So they tried. The Ally did. Short, just short. It was a close shave. Weather. 5. 5 on the weather table. Last time, July, August, no modifiers. 5. It's an okay weather turn, I guess. 2 attacks are allowed in China this turn. It's actually a very good weather turn for the Japanese. The Allies would have wanted a 1 or something like that, because then there would have been no attacks at all in China. But given how the summer has not been terribly good for the Japanese weather-wise, I guess it had to happen sooner or later. 2 attacks allowed in China this turn. Okay, Axis Impulse will start. And we will start with... where are we now? Resource Transportation Segment. Nothing special to do. Okay, so we will have things happening here. With the Japanese having 2 naval moves. And given that we're entering the latter half of the year, which is going to clear up in the south, the weather in the south, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 land moves to be done, but the first thing we do is ground strike phase. We could move 1 more naval unit, but there is nothing more to be moved. Oh, there is something more to be moved. Look at that. Well then, I stand corrected. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 2 corps coming in here to continue the invasion against China. On the other hand, you know what? This looks horribly empty, and as much as I would like to, we just had a Soviet attack, and the Japanese have no idea if the Soviets are going to renew the attacks. So we might want to reinforce the frontier here. I know that's going to take a bunch of movements, a bunch of actions away from the limited Japanese action economy. But this guy is terribly isolated here with the resource, and if the Soviets decide to declare war, there is nothing keeping them from going all the way to Mukden here, basically, and killing off this. So this feels a little bit urgent. So perhaps we should just, reinforce there. China will have to wait. So that's 2 naval moves there. We're going to want to move Umetsu as well. probably up to Manchuria to be able to give HQ support and so on. 3 land units to be moved. And this is too good an opportunity to pass up. So we're going to stomp on Mao Zedong. We're going to move this guy here, that's 1. And now we have 13... Wait a minute. We said that the first thing we have to do is the ground strikes, right? This guy cannot reach Mao. Only this guy can. 13 divided in 2 gives us 7 to cross the river, which is a 7-1 on the assault table. Uh-oh. Remember what weather it is. Let's see here. Can we even do this effectively? It's mud in Arctic and mud in Arctic Circle, but it's clear in the temperate and Mediterranean. It's monsoon in the North Monsoon, which is going to be bad. But that's in southern China, so we can absolutely do this. It's nice and clear weather for an attack. We cannot reach Mao with this Air Force here. This tactical bomber here. We have 1 aircraft rebase to be done. I think we're gonna rebase these boys here like so. So this tactical bomber is now on the Hata HQ, which the ground strike happens before the aircraft rebase, so we can't really use it now, but we can use this one, and it's a 1, so if I roll a 1, Mao gets flipped. And I rolled a 1. Okay, that was mad luck. Absolutely mad luck. Mao is in fact flipped. And then, what else did we have here? Ground strike done. Aircraft rebase face, so that is when we move this one down here. Now this one will have a 3 hex range everywhere, so it can do ground supports and all sorts of other nice little shenanigans. Don't think we will need it because of 7-1, etc, etc. So we're gonna save that one for a future ground strike instead. Land movement. 3 units get to move. Wait, before the land movement, we have strategic movement phase, and we're definitely going to move this 6-3 here to Harbin by train. Ning, 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 ning. It just, they all go, the 20th Japanese Army gets on a train, goes to Harbin from Port Arthur, just in case of Soviet aggression. These lads here will take a lot longer. They would take 1, 2, 3, 4 impulses to get up there. So I think we're just going to send them by rail as well. Now we have 1 move like this. And we have... I think I'm going to move this way, honestly, because... the 7th, I mean, it can't really get behind us, can it? So maybe more like 1, 2, 3, like that. That seems like a better shuffle for the Japanese army. We're all in supply because we are all within 2 hexes of a city, so that's all good. 13 versus... 7 versus 1 is the attack. That is all we have for the Japanese for this turn. Let's see how that goes. A 4. And it's a +1 as well on the assault table. So 5. Boom. Dead. Mao Zedong will go into retirement for a moment. The Mao's headquarters has been shattered by the Chinese offensive. By the Japanese offensive. Pardon me, and the Japanese are not even flipped. They can move in like so. And still have, yeah, they should have moved back behind the river. It was a bet. I was rolling the dice on that, and now it's too late. The Japanese are across the Yellow River. Not so good. I should have moved back earlier. Eek. They can move back now, though. Though, I guess now there's... Well, there's going to be a little bit of a point, because we can move, like, here and so on, but, yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to move back, aren't we? Well, that was the Japanese, impulse. In Europe, they're still all peaceful, isn't it? We have ourselves an infantry corps here with the Italians. Infantry army, actually. They don't count corps, they count armies. We can move that one there. We have some air force here, a fighter and a tactical bomber. Badoglio in charge of these lads here. We have a 6-3 infantry army up here. We have some Albanians here, even though Albania hasn't been annexed by Italy yet. We should do that soon. The Caioduio and a whole bunch of, and the Giulio Cesare and Conti di Cavour. So these guys have a 4 range, 5 range, 6 range. Now I've sorted the destroyers by range. There you go. And we have the transport. Where would I want to take that unit? Do I want this unit to be here? Or do I want to rail it to Trieste? In case of need against Yugoslavia? Perhaps we can do that. Everything is nice and peaceful. Everything is nice and peaceful. Alright, so from here... Yeah, we have to attack. Banzai! Don't worry about defending. Let's go. That's what the Japanese do. Go straight ahead, right, Commando? Germany has 6 land moves on a combined and 2 naval moves, but we don't need the naval moves right now. 6 land moves on a combined. Let's go. It's all clear weather, too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can go all the way up to the Polish border with these guys. Don't know why I would want to go all the way that far, but we're doing something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why they're all going towards the Polish border. Nobody can guess. 1, 2, 3. Manstein. Oh, wait. I can only move so many troops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I guess I'll let these guys stay in Vienna. That's all we can move. We should, of course, update here, because I haven't done that yet. The number of factories is now 9, and the number of resources is 19. 9 factories gives an 18 production, so we have 18 production now, which is nice. Germany will be able to gear up in January, so that is all the moves that we can make with the axis for this impulse. And because we have... I mean, I could do more stuff with Italy, but I don't have to do more stuff with Italy because Italy doesn't really have anything pressing at the moment. We don't have enough ground troops to go into Albania. We need to annex Albania, speaking of which. Italy has to do that and hasn't done that so far. Albania occupied. Albania is not conquered, declare war on, and so on and so forth. Your initiative has to be lower than the Commonwealth's. So that's going to be on Italy's to-do list, perhaps for next turn. Who knows? Italy gets to gear up in 42. So, gonna take a while. Gonna take a while. Okay, Allied. First impulse. Alright. Yeah, the Soviets will definitely move. This unit here is gonna get closer to the front, which is getting, you know, embarrassingly close. The Soviets are gonna use their moves here. They have 5 land moves to make on a combined for the benefit of the Chinese communists. So 1, 2, because we don't want this little bunch of Japanese to move up behind. That would be very annoying. This is going to make it a little bit harder for them to attack. So that's 3 moves. We're going to keep this army up in the mountains, of course. And that is as far as we go, which means that the Japanese will be able to, you know, drive the wedge in a little bit further. Not so good. You know what? We could actually do one. We could do this. This will get it flipped, but it will put an end to the immediate risk of further Japanese incursions. They do have, the Japanese have another attack this turn, but even with 13 against 4, I mean, we could make it to, with another aircraft base, we could make it to 16 against 4, which would be 4-1 with a +1. Well, but if they do that, they're not attacking to get a resource down in the south, so, you know, this is at least a way to plug the gap. So let's do that. 4 moves, 3 of the Soviet moves are happening here in China. And I don't really see any reason to make any other moves with the Soviets at the moment. Apparently the Soviets are not going to declare a major war against Japan this turn, this impulse. And if they were going to do it, it would really be now, because, you know, Harbin is vulnerable. We might even get some way into Korea here. There isn't a whole lot of Japanese troops here, but Stalin is like, yeah, no, they can manage. They're fine. They're good. The Chinese, meanwhile, I mean, this unit is going to be absolutely curb stomped if it stays there, but we don't want to give up the resource. And if we let it be curb stomped, they will have spent their attack, won't they? On the other hand, losing 2 units in the same turn is terrible. So let's have a look here. We have 7 here, potentially 13 plus 7, which is going to be 20, 28 plus 5 is 33 against 5. That's a lot of 33 versus 5 is 6-1 on the Blitzkrieg table. That's painful. Yeah, most likely they will just that's definitely nuking the unit, as it were. If we can get across here, then we have a flank, because they can't get across the water here, the lake. I know it means giving up a resource, but the resource is dead anyway. This way, they will retain an attack, which is not cool. I can see that attack happening against this forest, which again is not cool. So do we sacrifice the 5-3, or do we pull it back here? The 3 here, that's 14 against 3, that is 4-1. And then the road to Chungking is pretty much open, isn't it? Since the Japanese have only used 1 attack so far this turn, I cannot leave Changsha open. And I don't want to move away from Xi'an. So we just don't have enough troops, do we? That's what's going on in my mind right now. Like, do we need to move this one here? But then we open ourselves up for a Japanese thrust westwards, potentially. Like, we have that. They could do a strike here. We can even get some paras joining into the attack. Or do we let them curb stomp this, and then we retain the ability to just, you know, close up the lines here? What are we getting next turn? We're getting 2 infantry. Yeah, of course the Commonwealth are sending 6 more money to China because we need to shore up the Chinese defenses. Land for time, land for time. It's the same as Russia until Stalingrad happens. Yeah. We'll move this guy down here then. At the risk of being exposed to an attack here. I'm not sure it's the best thing, but... because an attack here will... But on the other hand, they have to shuffle, right? They only have 3 moves. Okay, let's do it. We're trading some land here for time. It's not the best trade we've ever made, but it is a trade, isn't it? And the North Monsoon, which is down here in the Philippines and along the coastline, is in mud, which means that Ushijima does not get to move again. I think he hasn't moved since he landed because of the bad weather. It's just been raining and raining and raining and being muddy and miserable. So that means that these guys, like, there is no supply around here. I mean, there is supply because Canton acts as a supply center, but they can't sneak around, and the supply is only, you know, going that far. Anyway, yeah, that's one Chinese move here. The question is, do we do anything here? I don't think so. We can't leave Xi'an open. I could move Chiang over there just to get like another like HQ support, I guess, to the 3, or, you know, get them up here to make it a 4 and so on. So I guess we could do that. That's about what we can do at this stage. That's 2 Chinese moves. Desperate Chinese moves. Alright, what do we have that the Commonwealth might want to do? Everything is nice and shiny here in the Med, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess. We now have, that was 3 land moves, which is all the Commonwealth has for a combined. We are going to send the transport here back. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to send this transport back as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are going to send... Well, that's 2 naval moves. How many navals do we have? 3. No, we have 2 naval moves with the Commonwealth, so that's all we can do for now. So Ark Royal will not be moving, and nothing else will move either. Do I want to split my 6-4 here into divisions, or... Yes, I think I might. Where do we have our divisions here? Oh, I only have the 1. Yeah, that's pointless. So we're not going to split the 6-4. If I had 2, I would, but the 1... I mean, I guess it's still worth it in a sense, because then I just maximize the army. So... this one goes back to the build pool. No, not the French build pool. The British build pool. And then we have our division. Why am I doing that, you ask? Well, because I can put that on top of 2 core, and I can also put it in Gibraltar too. You know, just guard Gibraltar. Wavell is going to remain here. We only have the 2 naval moves, so that's it. For the French, I think... How many aircraft or bases do we have? Aircraft or bases on the land, on a combined 2 in France. Look at them go. Look at the French go. So, whoop. Up to Metz. And I'll just put these guys here on the plains. They have nice range everywhere. I'm gonna move Georges over here. Because I can move there. We have Pétain here. I want to move Pétain to the tip of the Maginot Line, if you will. Now they're a little bit spread out there. If anything goes south in Spain, France will not be able to do much of anything. France really should coup Spain with its coup cell before France collapses due to German aggression. But the German aggression hasn't happened yet, so there it is. We're going to move up the Syrians here to the border. We have Paris with another corps. We have... Oh, Lille can receive more support here. And now we have absolutely nothing in Paris, which is not ideal. I guess we just have to get some tanks in to you know, flesh out the defense, as it were. How many land moves did I make with France? France has 3 land moves to make. I think I made the 3. 1, 2. Oh, there we go. Not Pétain then, apparently, because I moved Georges. Alright. That was a very complete French turn. Very complete indeed. So, that was... I'm not usually counting on this part of the spiral, am I? I'm counting the moves down here. I don't know why I have 2 spirals. It's just that I do. -1 still. The Axis second impulse, and we have a second attack that we can do with the Japanese. We also can do 2 naval moves, which includes getting Umetsu somewhere. We have plenty of supply sources in China, so we don't particularly need Umetsu right there right now. We are going to move Umetsu to this spot, though. We're going to have to move all 3 of those land units sooner or later. We're going to move the 19th Japanese army to Harbin. Harbin is now fully defended, if completely disorganized, just in case of Russian aggression. We have ground strike that I don't know that I want to use right now. There's a lot of land units to be moved in China, and we need to move everything. Okay, where do we start? It's just too many units. Okay, we can move this guy from Hangzhou here. So now we officially have the Chinese resource that the Chinese don't really have anymore. The Chinese are going to lose 2 resources this time, because lo and behold, yes, it is in the North Monsoon, so they get... They don't now, they do get flipped. 4 points to move across. So that's another step. So that's 2 land moves. But that also increases the number of resources by 2. And that increases the production accordingly. We're running out of resources that the Japanese can capture. That was 2 land moves. What else do we want to do here? What is the most important land move we can do right now? I mean, I want to get through this 3-2, absolutely. It's a lovely idea. Since I'm doing land moves now, I can't do the ground strikes because that's earlier in the phase. Which is okay because, like, yeah, this guy is not really easy to hit now. We have 11. If we go across here later on with this fella, we'll have 17 divided in 2, which is still not, you know, very impressive. Maybe the better land move is, in fact, getting the Kwantung army across here. So we move that guy there, like that. Yeah, that is definitely the better move. And we can, in fact, save this. No, we're not going to save this move. I don't want to roll out the turn. But I would have wanted to have... Well, I guess I could do an like a para drop here with these guys too, but I don't really see why I should do that. We have moved through there. That resource is now Japanese. And this guy is still struggling to get back to the main Chinese lines, which is not a bad thing for the Japanese. Do we want to attack anything right now? 4. That's 2 plus 9 against 5. No, we don't want to attack anything now. We'll just have to wait. That's all there is to it. That was 3 moves with the Japanese and no attack. With the Germans, there's a lot of moving to do. 1, 2, 3. That's 1 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need some tanks up here. That's 3 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? We should probably have the tank here, rather. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 units moved. And then 5 units here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we can put Rundstedt here. 5. And, oh, 6. Right. I think we're going to put Rundstedt down here somewhere, honestly. If we have Manstein up here, we want Rundstedt down there. No reason to worry, Poland. It's just an exercise. We are just, you know, practicing what we have learned in Czechoslovakia. That's all there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. So that's all 6 moves. We can do some aircraft rebasings, which I didn't do last impulse for no good reason. 3 aircraft rebasings is what we can do. You know what? Railroad. Or air transport, I guess. I mean, 6 of this, half a dozen of the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Boom. It's Breslau, so we can do this with both of these guys during the air transport phase. So now we have Paris, which shouldn't worry Poland at all. 3 aircraft can rebase. Whoop, to Breslau. Did we have any other cities here? Nope, no cities at all. Do I want to send an aircraft over to East Prussia? Probably not. Just 1, 2. So that's 3 aircraft rebased. Where are all my tactical bombers? My tactical bombers are up here in case of war with the Spanish Civil War, which has not happened. Yeah, that's as far as we get with the Germans. This impulse. The Italians. Again, we need more land troops with Italy and more transports with Italy. Right now, there isn't a whole lot more to add or subtract, so it looks fine. Which means that we go to the Allied second impulse. Not as much action this turn as last turn because the Soviets are not attacking. This was a community vote, by the way. Okay, Chiang is safe over here. Chiang can go into the forest, but he would get flipped there, wouldn't he? Yes, he would, because it's the Pacific. Not sure I want to do that with Chiang. Okay. The question is, do we want to move these guys down here? I think we do, because this is going to shore up Changsha and, you know, bring these guys to a better position. So one like that. The communists can't do much more than they have, so they're going to stay there. I have another land move to do, but I don't want to do it because I get flipped if I go there. So what we need is this guy, but this guy is holding the southern edge here. We need just one more army to feel good about ourselves. Chang. If he goes here, he gets flipped and can't help out. One thing I guess I could do is just to move this guy back here. He gets flipped, but the defense is much stronger. Oh my. I shouldn't have moved Chang last turn then, should I? On the other hand, on the third hand, on the fifth hand, if I move this guy over here, and the Japanese still have one more attack, they could attack Chang. Because I only have the 2 moves. And that's 11, but it's across a river. But it's also Blitzkrieg. So it would be 6-1 against Chang, which is excellent. And it opens up the whole basin here. Oh, that's a terrible, terrible situation. I can't have that. What I could do is retreat here. That is the better move. Because now they can't just blast through here. They'll get stuck in Xi'an for now. And maybe I can get some units up here next impulse to just sort of block off the line, since these guys are retreating and getting to Changsha. It's a bit of a race here, but that's what we have. So yeah, that is the solution, I think, for now. China is done. The Commonwealth can move 2 naval units. We're gonna move the transport here, which can actually take both Wavell and the division. But we're not gonna do that because I'm using Wavell for the British Expeditionary Force if I can't get a better HQ. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I can just stay here, it doesn't matter. I can go home later. This guy will step ashore here in Gibraltar, so now we have some defenses on both Malta and Gibraltar, both Malta and the Rock. And France is... Oh, I moved Bataan. Let's move Bataan just because we can move Bataan. And this is essentially... You know, I could move this 3-2. It's a little bit risky on one hand, because when you only have the 1 unit, but they have 18 defense here, so pretty sturdy. But this guy could be in Paris, you know, to... When the push comes through here, we don't want them to have... a blitzkrieg all the way to Paris. So we want to have something in the way. I'm gonna actually rebase this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can cover the entire front line. That's good. Think that is pretty much it for the Allies. Are the Soviets doing anything? Nope. Nothing much at the moment. Soviets have 5 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Okay, 3. And 4, like so. Don't worry, Poland! We have no designs on you at all. It's all good. It's all fine. Yep, we're all fine over here. How are you? Yep, that is it. They couldn't do much about the Chinese front line anyway. Okay. So we're getting back to the Axis third impulse, and we are fully aware that Japan still has an attack left, but we're also fully aware that Japan is very spread out, only has 3 moves, and it's gonna be really difficult to cover everything. Because I think that Manchuria is starting to feel a bit safer from the Japanese perspective, because the Soviets would have attacked by now. They're not going to do an attack. And of course the winter's coming. So winter is coming. So they would have negatives because of that. Add the Siberians to the game. I had forgotten about that. Gee, I've played the option, so I'm going to have to add the Siberians. We'll have to remember that. Anyway, Japan has 3 units here on ships. Wait, what? How many? Okay, that's too many units. Errata. Let us correct this, shall we? We have 2 units on ships. We don't have more than 2 transports, so we will need to build more transports to be able to pull that off. Fair enough. I mean, if I have to choose, I'll obviously go with the 5-2. So Umetsu will still be in Osaka here. 2 units. They can both get to Port Arthur, which I think they're going to have to. But that means no land attack right now. I can always return to base into Port Arthur later, provided I don't get curb stomped by a sudden Soviet attack. This is the dilemma here, folks. This is the dilemma. The Japanese cannot be sure after that Nomonhan incident that the Soviets are not coming to get them. On the other hand, we want to do another attack this turn, because why shouldn't we? Just move until we can attack. So let's do another attack. The 5 here is a little bit exposed. If we can get... The 6 can't get across the water. We needed the Marine for that. And they've been stuck in the mountains for a while. The 4 can get down here. So 1, 2... And with these guys, we'll have a blitz. So that would be 11 plus 7. And this guy, I get... Oh, we can go up here in the mountains. Yes. So that would be 3 moves right there. So now we have 11 plus 7 is 18. Plus 3, because it's across a river. 21 plus these 4 is 25 against 5, which is still 5-1. Okay, let's ground strike the guy. Boom. That is the solution. But the Japanese pilots can't find the targets, even though there is not a cloud in the sky. Sad. Do we want to send the paras? I mean, of course we do. That's what they're for, isn't it? Much quicker to deploy them forwards like that. So, okay, now we have a proper attack here in the south. in the subtropical zone, which, you will remember, is still nice and clear. Right? Right? Subtropical? Yes, it is nice and clear. Okay, so all out against the 5. It was working really hard to get back to the lines. It failed. That's all we can say about that. It failed. So we have now, let's do some calculations. 11 plus 7 plus 4 for the paras. Japanese paras. How often have you seen that in World in Flames? Not often, I reckon. We don't have any ground support to get us up to a 30 in attack, which is very sad. Half of the reason I'm doing the 4 para here is because it's just quicker to, you know, then I don't have to use a ground move to move the guys. So divided by 5 gets us 5-1 on the Blitzkrieg table and clear terrain and all that sort of thing. Let's go. They tried to get home and a 1. If you have to pivot, you have to pivot. Yeah, that's 1 on the Blitzkrieg table, 5-1. 1 each. The worst possible result for the Japanese attack. But it's a 5-1 on the Blitzkrieg table, so both sides lose something, which saves the Japanese paras from dying horribly, shot down from above. Or does it? Yes, it does, because Japanese paras are very expensive. We're not going to lose them. I'm going to put the air transport in Wuhan, I guess. I mean, it can just be stomped on. Okay, I'll put them over there then. Just in case. I don't think the Chinese would go out there and stomp, but we don't want to be overly rash. Who are we moving in here? I guess the 7-4. And we're losing the 6-3. Which is... ouch. Ouch is what that is. That was a terrible result. And everything Japan had in this attack is flipped. Okay, now I wish that air transport was actually available so I could unflip units and move them, but here we are. Ushijima can be used to unflip the Marines! And he will do that, because he can. Okay. That's all he can't move because of the monsoon. That's just how it is. We have now conducted both the Japanese attacks for the turn, and I mean that was just a terrible attack. Just a terrible attack. There will be some colonels and generals in the Japanese army who will have to explain themselves to high command, like Ushijima or Hata. How did you handle this so disastrously against the Chinese army? That is the question that they will have to answer for. Oh well. But we have to. We had to do the thing. So here we are. Allied impulse number, what is it, 4 or something? 1, 2, it's number 3. Because I can't count apparently. Now the Japanese have used all their attacks for this turn, so they cannot attack anything else. Which means that I guess we're gonna go back with these guys here. They will get flipped, but they will also, you know, stop any further Japanese advancements. The forest is now a safe place to be. Chiang, I guess he can return, because there's a lake here. They can't get across the lake. Unless they have a marine, which they do, but it takes a while for the marine to get there, and the marine can't even get there because it's all, you know, clogged up by these guys. Hatta is going to have to move down there and fix the disorganization, basically. So Chiang can move down here for now. It's fairly safe. The Soviets are still not attacking, which is going to make the Chinese very sad and upset. I think they were very hopeful for further Soviet incursions, but the Soviets are like, yeah, we did our thing. Be happy, be grateful. We killed some Japanese armies. They're not attacking you right now because we put them in the dirt. We have done what we wanted with the British and the French, I think. So if I roll a 1, this action phase is officially over. I did not. Alright. Japan, 3 moves. Just because I want to get these guys off the ships. I mean, I can always return to base at Port Arthur, but no, I've returned them to... Move the lads off the ships in Port Arthur. An aircraft rebase to Harbin. And then 1 more move somewhere. And that's going to be the 6-3. The Japanese line looks awfully thin in China, honestly. Awfully thin. I'm going to have to do a bunch of reshuffling here with various units to just get to a point of contact again with the Chinese. That was it. That was the 3 moves we had. That's all. We have a lot more to move. And not enough time to do it, clearly. These guys are just stuck in the mud. They can move 1 step somewhere when I decide that they're going to move, but they will, you know, be flipped immediately. Also, they're Marines, and we're going to need them for other things. Alright. Germany, 6 land moves. Obviously, we'll want to have something up here. Or do we? Yeah, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can rebase an aircraft like so. And move Rundstedt over there. So that's 3 land moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry, Poland. It's just an exercise. Also, have you considered that Danzig might actually be German and not Polish at all? This whole Gdansk stuff that you talk about. Have you considered that? I'm just curious. Just curious. That is what we have with Japan at the moment, and the other axis. Let's see if the turn ended. It ends! Dang it, Japan is not very happy with that at all. Japan wanted 1 more impulse to shuffle various units to various places and get back to a line of contact with the Chinese. But that's where we're at. Land impulse is over. Japan made some progress, got across the Yellow River, got across down here in the south, across this. I know the name of this river, Changjiang in Chinese. The Long River, I think it's called in English, isn't it? I know my Chinese geography. I don't need coffee, you do. End of turn segment starts with the partisan phase. A 5. On the partisan. Sweden. Nope. Persia. No. Romania. No. France. No. Yugoslavia. No. Occupied China. Definitely. South Africa. No. Burma. No. Wait a minute. Occupied China. Probably not. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6. No. We have suppressed the partisans. Yay! No partisan activity shall be tolerated. Convoy attack, coup phase. US entry phase. Let's have a look, shall we? Don't know if the US wants to intervene more in the war as it is, because we want the US to join the war, don't we? But we are going to roll to see if the US entry increases. It is 1938. The year has been going... The war has been going 1 year. So it's just a plain D10 to roll for US entry right now. That was not the roll. That's just me putting the box in the box. We are rolling 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. No, 6 is a +1, which becomes +2. Where do we put that? Probably against Japan, I think. That is probably where we're going to put it. So, yeah. No Chinese cities were taken this turn, which actually doesn't increase US entry at all. 36 now against Japan. 15 against Germany in effective. And 2 against Italy in effective US entry. Since Germany is not at war with any democracy, we can't do any entry options against them. Let me check. US entry actions. I always forget which one is entry actions and one entry options. The actions is when the Japanese or the Axis do something silly. The options is when the US is doing something silly to them. Okay, we have done resources. We've done Lend-Lease, and the effective US entry is now 36, which means that we can freeze Japanese assets. Because we have already done the embargo. That is a 23. That does increase US entry to the US by 7, which is a lot, 8 now. But I think we have to play it because, you know, they're getting away with an awful lot of resources out there. This is that second one. US. Freeze Japanese assets. I'm just looking it up here. Embargo on strategic material. Isn't that the one we're talking about? Oh, they've switched the labels around. That's what they've done. The cost of building all types. Japanese aircraft unit is increased by 1 build point for all following production phases, including this one, in which Japan does not receive at least 1 resource. That's the 4th edition version. What is the 5th edition version of this? Gee, sorry. I'm just checking my rules because there's so many editions. All sorts of rules. 5th edition. Here we go. Since we're building per 5th edition economy, we can't use final edition rules for that US entry action. So US entry option 25. Now, entry modifiers. So where do we have the Japanese The actual US... And here we go. Entry options. We've done that one. Okay, the cost of building all Japanese naval aircraft and armor units is increased by 1 build point from now until Japan is at war with the US. That's actually more punishing than in 4th edition. Okay then. Yeah, we can do that. That is evil and nasty. And it will cost us 7 US entry. So the US is a little bit active here, but I think it could be worth it. We're gonna end up at a 42 base US entry there. Germany now has a US entry of 8. Italy a -5 because Congress has taken a strong stance. Japan is at a 29. And the USSR is at -30. There will never be a war between the US and the Soviet Union because they're all nice to each other here. Yes, yes, they are. Wait a minute. Was I right about that? Ah, it should be 43, of course, because we have the veto of the Neutrality Act. That cuts both ways. So, effective US entry against Germany 7, -6 against Italy, and 28 versus Japan. But now it's going to cost Japan an arm and a leg to build aircraft and armored. That's why Japan has already built some aircraft and armored, I guess, because it costs much more later on. Alright, that was the US entry phase. So, more embargo on strategic materials. The Japanese is not happy with this at all. They're gonna need stuff. Where are we now? It's almost like tension is growing between them. Okay. Production phase. We have 6 production for the US. That is 5 money. The US has to get... So this one has to start May, June 39. This one has to start September, October 39. So we don't have to do anything there right now. This one has to be started November, December 41. So we're cool with that. We have 2 transports here. We have another 2 transports here. And we have 1 transport here. We might need another transport on the Atlantic, but I do believe that we have 1 transport on the way. We do. We could just build a simple destroyer group again, because there's nothing wrong with having destroyer groups. I'm thinking about building a strategic bomber at some point in the not too distant future, because wow. But for now, we're building a destroyer, and that's another American ship on the way. You can say whatever you want, but the American shipbuilding program is on point right now. Alright, that is the US builds. The Commonwealth have 14 production per turn. That's 2 money, so we now have 16 money, which is even more on point, I think. Alright, we need a lot of infantry because war is coming. It's almost like we're a sage saying this, right? But let's face it, we're not. We built 1 ship last turn. We built 1 infantry last turn. I feel like we should build... What do we have? We have 1 fighter. We'll definitely need an infantry as well. So, infantry, fighter... We can build 2 infantry this turn, actually. That leaves us with 10 money left. Shuffle. 1. Oh, that's a nice one. 2. Do I want to build another HQ? Probably not right now. But a fighter would not go amiss. This one has to be built in January, February 39, so not right now. Yeah, no musts. Must about words. I don't have any words. Do you have words? Where can I get some words? March, April, 40. We're good. Maybe complete this destroyer group could not be a bad idea, honestly. And a fighter on top of that. Okay, let's do that. So, one ship, 2 infantry, and a fighter. Yeah, Italy and Japan need to build transports, absolutely. A single fighter is just not enough for home defense. Oh, it's an Australian fighter, because of course it is. Oh well. They are not useless either. Just, you know, for a while. The bane of the British existence. Right, let's build something. Yes, we're gonna build it in Australia. Wait, what? And a light surface, because light surface is never wrong to have. There we go. Good range on that one too. And we have to build some. We have 6 production here with France. France has built all its infantry. Can build a para for $5. Very expensive. Will not ever be actually doing duty as a paratrooper. You know what? I think an armor is probably a smarter idea in that case, honestly. We don't, no cavalry, no marines. Let's go. Armor, French armor, 5.5. Okay. We just need people to hold the line. The question is if this armor will get in time to actually see action or not. May, June is probably... yeah, that's probably when the action might start. So that is the one French build. An armor core. Germany, out of -11 money, +18 gives us a +7 money, which is not a whole lot to write home about. Particularly not when, you know, the next gear up is coming in a couple of turns. What did we build with Germany last turn? 1 infantry and 1 armor. We're not going to build an armor this turn, I don't think. We could build 2 infantry just to, you know, have it done, I guess. Shuffle. There we go. 1, 2. We're being consistent here, folks. We're being consistent. I think we need have we built tactical bombers? Enough tactical bombers in the world? I mean, we're getting one next turn, which is an amazing one. Yeah, we're gonna need to build tactical bombers. In that case... so I had 7 money. If I put these boys back here in the infantry pool and I shuffle again. Tactical costs 5 money. I can't really go a turn without building infantry, can I? It's Germany. Okay. I'm gonna do something radical here and just build a single infantry. Because it was an expensive turn for Germany. And Germany, you know, got some money out of it. And Germany also wants to gear up very soon, and that's going to be extremely costly. There are other things Germany has on schedule here to do, so yeah, there's just a lot. Italy needs to build a transport. We have 7 money in the cash box, which is a lot for being Italy, honestly. This one needs to be built in 1940, as the keel has to be laid down. This one has to get in, May, June 40, so we don't have to do it until May, June 39. We have an Italian transport coming in there, but we do need to build one more. Italy built what last turn? Italy built a ship. We could build 2, but we're not gonna. Gonna build a ship and an infantry, I think. Yeah. Wait a minute. No, we're just gonna build a transport. There's a lot of other things to be done for Italy as well. So, because there's still political activity to be had. So a single transport will just have to suffice for Italy right now. Infantry is faster to build anyway. Italian transport on the way. So Italy builds a single ship. In the Soviet Union, factories build you instead of the other way around. Or what was it? 5 money. And last time the Soviets built absolutely nothing. So let's build an infantry. Yeah, that was the Nomonhan Incident, wasn't it? Let's build an infantry. We still have a lot of left to do for this to build. So here we go. That's a good one. I feel like the Red Army has been properly rebuilt after the purchase. Did I just forget that I had sent... What did I build with the Commonwealth? I built 2 infantry with the Commonwealth, which was 6 money. Right? And then I built 1 fighter and a ship. So I should be down to 2 money. But I also said I was sending 6 money over to China to help them build another infantry. So we're actually at -4. Forgot about that, but I feel like the builds we have built are also quite important. So, I mean, the only thing I could possibly not do right now is, I guess, the ship. Like, we could put that one back here for now. Put the Commonwealth to 1 ship and give 4 money back to the Commonwealth. Okay, that works. Japan! 13 money now. Yeah, they're sending 1 to the US. They have 15 money in total. We said we wanted to build a ship, a transport. So we're going to do that, absolutely, because we only had the 2 transports, which was a little bit embarrassing. So here we go. That leaves us with... And now there's the embargo on strategic materials, but that doesn't apply to ships. Only to armor and fighters and stuff. Okay, this one, November, December 39. That has to go now. That has to be... The keel has to be laid down this very turn. No, because it's September, October 39, not November, December. I keep forgetting. So we don't have to lay down the keel yet. And we don't have to finish anything there. Okay, good. So, ship we have built. We have 10 infantry left. How much infantry did we build last time? Okay, let's build 2. Because clearly, building aircraft is going to be exhaustingly expensive, even though we might want to have some more aircraft, particularly naval air, later on. And that's gonna get pressing soon because, you know, the US. But for now, we're building 2 Japanese infantry. 1 and a 2. Okay. The 3-2 is terrible. We have 2 HQs left. Which HQs do we have left? We have Yamamoto. Yeah. Yeah, Yamamoto and Yamashita. Both excellent. A nav would cost 6 money. That's a lot. Another transport would cost 4. So maybe use this leeway to build another transport. So 2 transports and 2 infantry. That should solve the Japanese logistics problem. That Japanese army is very sad, but it's something you can, take as a loss when needed. 'Cause we actually lost a good Japanese army this turn. It was very embarrassing, and some emotions were in order. So that's it for Japan. So I'm going to mark this properly here. We had 2 ships and 2 infantry built. China finally. 4 money still, plus 3 from the Commonwealth, gives us 7 in total. So we're at plus 4. And we're definitely going to build 2 infantry. So at minus 2. Chinese are very grateful for the British support. But apparently some Stalinist support snuck in there as well, because the communist is in fact entering the battlefield. In January and February. So this is Chinese life right now. Just keep churning out those infantry. I don't want to spend any more because China will eventually want to gear up, and China will need the money to do that. So yeah. That concludes the builds, I believe. Return to base phase is going to be very simple, because there's still no war between naval powers. We're going to have these transports going back home to London, all of them, ready for their next duty in the service of the British Empire. And that's basically it. So, return to base, Novishi, final reorganization phase. So we're gonna unflip. It's just basically Japanese units. Very spread out line now, isn't it? But Japan now has Hainan as well. Yeah, that was something else. Did we have anything else that was flipped at all? I don't think so. Oh, look at that. We did have something else flipped. Rah! German panzers. I don't know why I put them there, honestly. But, it's a while left until we attack into Poland. I think we're going to pull these guys back. They're not even... 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they are in supply from Bratislava. But, yeah. I don't think we're going to start a war in the middle of winter, so... Here we are. Yeah. Gee. November, December is going to be politically active still, and then we'll get to 1939, and it's going to be even more dramatic, I have a feeling. Czechoslovakia is no more. It is now completely in German hands. and there was nothing the Allies could do with it. Are we gonna see a similar fate with Poland? Will the Allies finally be able to step up and counter the German expansion? I mean, they're gonna have to. Is Germany ready for a confrontation with the Allies? Don't know. Well, we will just have to wait and see. And thank you so much for hanging out and checking out the war. We will continue next week with the last turn of 1938. Things are heating up, y'all. This is the Myth Machine signing off for now.